top story. Authorities in New Zealand have identified the first victim of a volcanic eruption that rocked New Zealand's White Island. Live to New Zealand correspondent Jackson Williams. Jackson, a tour guide, is among the 5 people killed.
Yeah, local man, a tour guide, Hayden Marshall Inman, the first of the victims to be named. As it currently stands, the death toll is at 5, but that is only expected to rise, to climb significantly. There are 8 people 50 kilometres offshore from Whakatane here in New Zealand's Bay of Plenty on the North Island. 8 people on White Island that remain unaccounted for. Police believe as a result of a series of reconnaissance flights that resulted in no sign of life being observed on the island, that those people did not survive the fury of yesterday's devastating eruption on White Island. 47 people were on White Island shortly after 2 o'clock when this eruption occurred. 5 confirmed dead, 8 unaccounted for. More than 30 others remain in hospitals across New Zealand, many of them in a critical condition in intensive care units with very severe burns. Police expecting the death toll to rise yet again.
Our job, of course, and the job that police are working on diligently is in reconciling the nationalities and identification of those who are in hospital in order to identify those who are currently missing.
The pilot that went out there and spent about 45 minutes has provided a pretty good indication that we do not believe anybody else has survived that explosion. We also had the Eagle helicopter up there as well for a considerable period of time, and we could detect no signs of life.
Kieran, conditions remain just too dangerous. It's just too unstable there on White Island for police and other agencies to mount a recovery operation. And sadly, it will be a recovery operation, it looks like, not a search and rescue effort. That's just because police believe that those 8 people believed to still be on White Island did not survive yesterday's volcanic eruption. We know that shortly after the eruption yesterday afternoon, a number of helicopters landed on White Island. Those pilots really risking their own lives, flying into what were just incredibly dangerous conditions. They did that so they could save lives, so they could bring people back here to the mainland. So more than 30 people, Kieran, still in hospital, some of them fighting for their lives in critical conditions. 8 people, as I say, remain unaccounted for.
And Jackson, as our Prime Minister said, this group of people simply enjoying themselves on a holiday, but so much of that beautiful country is about taking risks, isn't it? About the tourism industry that underpins it, from bungee jumping to things like scuba diving and so on. It is a beautiful country, but the tourism industry, as I say, it's not without its risks.
Yeah, adventure tourism is inherently risky. It's inherently dangerous. I guess the focus questions will be asked in the longer term, and not now. That the focus really is on recovering the bodies that remain on White Island. But I guess the attention will turn to was it safe for tour operators to be conducting these tours? We know that in recent weeks there has been a heightened volcanic unrest. So I'm sure a lot of questions will be asked. Was it safe for the tours to be conducted? There were dozens of people on that island yesterday afternoon. Some of them, as we saw, some incredible vision posted online. Some others on boats nearby, watching these huge, thick plumes of smoke that burst into the air up to 12,000 feet above the crater. Just absolutely extraordinary. But you're absolutely right. Adventure tourism, which this nation, which the tourism sector here really thrives off. It's dangerous business. It's risky. We have seen tragically disasters in the past. We've seen one of the glaciers in the South Island. We saw a helicopter crash there in the past decade or so. And just one final point that the Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern made in her interview with Sky News today. While assistance has been offered from Australia, in particular the assistance of victim identification personnel. The Prime Minister says the sad reality is that New Zealand victim identification staff are already quite well versed in dealing with these mass casualty events. They've been through them a number of times, so that assistance from Australia might not necessarily be required, because we had the Christchurch mosque attack earlier this year. Obviously, a lot more people losing their lives then. We had the devastating 2011 earthquake in Christchurch as well. So sadly, there have been a number of these mass casualty events that have taken place here in New Zealand.